One king in history ate poison every morning on purpose for 50 years. The same king ordered 80,000 Roman civilians killed in a single day. He executed a Roman general by pouring molten gold down his throat. And his personal medicine recipe was still on pharmacy shelves in the 1700s. His name was Mithridates, and 2,000 years later, the internet is still fighting about him, about whether his famous poison trick actually worked, and about how he really died, because the official death scene, the one in every history book, is probably a lie. First, the 92nd version, so you know who we're dealing with. Mithridates VI was born in 135 BC in Pontus, a Greek-Persian kingdom on the Black Sea coast, in what's now northern Turkey. His father was the king. Then somebody poisoned his father at a banquet in his own palace. The boy fled his own court, came back around 113 BC, locked his mother in prison, and took the crown for real. Then Mithridates built the Black Sea into a private empire and picked a fight with the deadliest neighbor on earth, Rome. He fought Rome for 25 years across 3 wars against its 3 greatest generals. Sulla beat him, Lucullus beat him, Mithridates kept coming back. It took Pompey the Great to end it. In 63 BC, betrayed by his own son and cornered in a tower in Crimea, the old king died. Somehow, that's the version everyone agrees on, and honestly, it's the boring part. We're done with it. Here's the stuff the textbooks leave out. Start with the poison, because everything about this man runs through it. After the banquet, the legend says the teenage Mithridates made a decision. He would never die like his father, so he began eating poison on purpose. Arsenic, hellebore, tiny doses every single day, a little more each month for the rest of his life. This is a real practice. Toxicologists still call it mithridatism, because he invented it. And Mithridates didn't experiment only on himself. He tested poisons and antidotes on condemned prisoners and kept snake venom shamans at his court. Out of decades of human experiments, he built one master recipe with more than 50 ingredients. Mithridatium, the universal antidote. Remember that name, it comes back at the end of this video, and it's the wildest thing in it. Now the dark one. In 88 BC, Mithridates was at war with Rome and winning. Rome's richest province had thrown its gates open and cheered him as a liberator. But cheering wasn't enough. Mithridates wanted the Greek cities chained to him permanently. So he sent sealed letters to dozens of cities, naming one appointed day. On that day, the cities rose together and slaughtered the Roman and Italian civilians living among them. Ancient writers claim 80,000 dead. One says 150,000 in a single coordinated day. Why make the cities do the killing themselves? Because afterward, no city could crawl back to Rome and claim innocence. The entire Greek East was now his accomplice. Rome never forgave it, and somehow it still wasn't his most theatrical kill. That would be Manius Aquilius. Aquilius was the Roman official who engineered the war in the first place, hoping for a quick, profitable little payday. When Mithridates caught him, the story goes, Rome's greed got a literal answer. Molten gold poured down the man's throat. One ancient source records it, so file it under legend if you like. The Romans repeated it for centuries anyway. Hold that thought, because what the Romans repeated is about to matter a lot. Quick speed round, because this man's life doesn't slow down. Pliny claimed Mithridates ruled 22 nations and spoke every one of their languages. No interpreter. Ever. His battle line included chariots with spinning scythe blades mounted on the wheels. Ancient writers say a comet marked the year of his birth. They also say his daily antidote included duck blood. Is some of that exaggerated? Probably. That's the thing about Mithridates, even his exaggerations have footnotes. Here's the part that reads like fiction. Rome sent Sulla, its most ruthless general. Sulla crushed him, then let him keep his throne, because Rome's own civil war called Sulla home. Rome sent Lucullus. Lucullus shattered his armies and chased him into Armenia. Then Lucullus's own exhausted legions mutinied, and the pursuit collapsed. So in 67 BC, Mithridates, now 68 years old, marched back and retook his entire kingdom. It took Pompey the Great to finally break him 1 year later in a single-night battle. And even then, Mithridates escaped. He took an army through the Caucasus Mountains. Pompey didn't bother guarding that route because nobody crosses the Caucasus at nearly 70. From Crimea, the old man started planning his next move: march around the Black Sea, up the Danube, across the Alps, and invade Italy itself. Hannibal's rode in reverse. His own court concluded he'd finally lost his mind. His own son turned the army against him, and that brings us to the tower, and to the fight the internet is still having. But first, the promise from earlier. Mithridatium, the 50-ingredient antidote, didn't die with its king. Pompey's men carried the recipe back to Rome as a trophy. Nero's personal physician refined it. The great doctor Galen wrote about it. Renamed Theriac, it spread into every pharmacy in Europe. Doctors prescribed the Poison King's recipe through the fall of Rome, through the Middle Ages, through the Renaissance. The recipe was still listed in London's official drug registry in 1746. That's roughly 1800 years on the shelf. The empire that destroyed Mithridates lasted another 500 years. His medicine outlasted it by more than 1,000. Which brings us to what people are actually fighting about right now, in comment sections and Reddit threads every time this story comes up. Fight number 1, does poison immunity even work? Modern toxicology says, sort of. And that sort of ruins the legend. You genuinely can build tolerance to some biological toxins. There are researchers today microdosing snake venom, chasing a universal antivenom, walking Mithridates' exact path. But arsenic, the poison he supposedly trained on? Arsenic doesn't train you. Arsenic accumulates. Every dose stays in the body, stacking toward organ failure. So either the ancient writers got his ingredients wrong, or the Poison King spent 50 years slowly poisoning himself and calling it protection. That thread war never ends. Fight number 2 is the big one. How did Mithridates actually die? The famous version, cornered in the tower, he shared his poison with his 2 daughters. It killed them. Then he swallowed the rest, and his life's work betrayed him. Mithridates was too immune to die. So he begged an officer of his guard to run him through with a sword. There's even a perfect dying line about how the deadliest poison of all is the treachery of your own family, except a second ancient account says the poison was working just slowly, and his son's soldiers burst in and finished the dying king with spears. A third says he managed it with his own hand. No 2 sources agree on who held the blade, and notice whose pens wrote every single version. Roman pens. The Poison King denied a poison death. It's the punchline of the century, and Rome had every reason to write it. The modern reading is simpler and sadder. Mithridates carried 1 lethal dose, and he split it 3 ways to spare his daughters from Rome. Whatever was left was never going to kill a man his size with his tolerance. Maybe the legend is true, maybe Rome wrote the ending, the sources will never settle it. So here's where it lands. Pompey, the man who finally beat him, buried Mithridates with full royal honors in the tombs of his ancestors. The empire Mithridates built lasted decades. The story Rome wrote about him has lasted 2,000 years. His medicine outlasted both. So pick a side, the sword, the spears, or the version Rome wanted you to hear. Tell me below.